A very good evening from Super League HQ. Fifey here for your Sunday evening action, and I am delighted to be joined, as long as the tech is working fine, by Dragon's boss, Mr. Duggan. How are you, buddy?
Evening, both. How's it going, mate? You all right?
I am very well, thank you. Very well. We were a little bit unsure for a moment there, but we got it all working, and we are live, ready for game week 3. You looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, mate, I am. Bank holiday special. Hopefully everybody's joining us on the beers, and hopefully it'll be a decent show, mate. Good start to the season so far, I think, and well done to yourself.
Yes, it has to be said. You've even convinced me, courtesy of my brother who left it when he came to stay. I've even got one to share with you, lads. So happy bank holiday weekend and Super League Sunday.
There we go. Hang on. Got the beers. Fuck me.
Fivey's on the beers when he's got even more buttons to press than ever before. I'm trying something new with the tickers today. In the starting intro, we had last time's scores, and we've got the news just going along the bottom of the screen while you talk us through the start to the season. And it's fair to say, it's not been an ideal start for yourselves.
No, not. But I think sometimes at the start of the season, points on the board can be a little bit deceptive. I don't think we were particularly great, but not particularly bad against Bostock. And I thought we were fantastic against Fulchester, especially second half, but just couldn't kind of score really. And I think the main thing is there'll be teams scratching around, not knowing what they need to put right to be better. I think we've got a pretty good idea of what's went wrong in both games, really. So if you just jump on the first game v Bostock, if you look at Lee Bowyer, he was absolutely shocking in that first game in terms of like match stats. So he missed out on 6 of 7 tackles. His pass completion was shocking, and that was a little bit of a blunder with an attacking arrow on the MC, which we really shouldn't have done. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. And then in terms of the Fulchester game, I think Yusuf Garin just had an absolute stormer against us. Constantino only one header out of 7. And that was probably where the game was won and lost there, really. But yeah, should be a good game tonight against Asta. But I think probably the teams that we're seeing doing well are not as good as we think, and the teams that we see doing poorly are not as bad as we think.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next, actually. I know we are only 2 games in at this point, but has anyone surprised you? I mean, Bern weren't expected necessarily to do well this year. They've won their first 2. Gazelles in a similar boat. They've won their first 2 and have been pretty impressive, particularly in that first game. Again, 2 games in, it's very hard to draw any conclusions, but it's better to get off to a good start than not.
Yeah, look, I Northern Burn a little bit on that preview show, and to be fair to Edwards, when things were going bad at Burn, nobody knew why they were going bad at Burn, and he's rocked up this season with the same tactic he's always played, with players that he's had to work hard to get, but actually fit in really nicely there. And lo and behold, the game engine likes it. So I always thought Burn were going to do well this iteration. They just couldn't get the monkey off their back at the back end of the previous one. And, you know, I think the standout for me is Daniel Gazelle's. Over the last kind of 12 games, if Swan, I don't know if Swan's got the stats knocking about, but I think that struggled to be a manager that's better in form over the last 12 games. And what really interests us about him is that he's playing tactics that necessarily anybody would play in terms of the wingers with the long arrows. It's been a while since we've seen that in Super League, unless a team's behind and they're kind of chasing the game. I think the worst thing I can say for Dan is that Martin looks to be still on the scene, which means that naturally everybody will want him to fail and not be good. But yeah, I think stand out. And obviously Dimble, listen, I need to be very careful when I come on co-coms because I end up sounding as though I'm like, you know, a Dimble fanboy, but I absolutely am. And he built a squad that looks to be his own, and he's going to do really well this season.
Before we go on to tonight's games, as I said, they were flashing along the bottom of the screen during the little intro there. But any results from Thursday of particular interest to you?
I thought Maka getting a result against us probably confirms that his squad isn't as bad as he thinks. They're not the Hollywood players that he would like, and they're not the Man United kind of ex-boys that he would like. But I don't think he's got a bad squad as he thinks he has. Bostock, I think, are the ones to beat early doors. They've looked really solid in the first two games. And I think what's really interesting about Bostock and Burn, they both posted their teams today, and they've both went unchanged completely for the third game in a row. So even early doors in the season, you're seeing the importance of teams that are able to put a settled and confident 11 out there. You know, I think Steve Whiterose, because of that big injury to Deddy and then a couple of other knocks, he's had to change things drastically compared to how he was lining up. You've seen Rob, who probably tonight, without seeing tactics, is going to avoid and change the three up top for the first time in however long. So there's signs of managers sort of scratching around for a bit of form already. But Burn and Bostock have got the edge, and they're absolutely flying, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good evening to everyone who is watching live via either YouTube or Twitter. Just a reminder, in case you haven't seen or heard the notes yet, live chat is only available if you're watching on YouTube. Any Twitter comments that come in can only be seen excuse me, by other Twitter users. So if you want to join the debate and you want your messages flashing up on the screen, as everyone seems to like nowadays that I can do, be sure to be watching via the YouTube channel. And I don't normally do this, but it seems a bit of a waste. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all the other stuff that you do to the other YouTube channels, because the more people that like the videos, the more likely other people will get to see them. All being well, Ghost Games permitting, obviously, Dragons Asta will be last on tonight. Early season, do you have a game you want to start with, or do we just let the game decide, Duggan? Sorry, mate, you slightly froze for a second there.
Yeah, you did it. You were asking us where you want to go.
Yes. Any particular game you want to start with?
I would like to start with Whiterose and Burn, please, mate.
That is absolutely fine. We will start there. And thank you very much, Jens. It's much appreciated. There was a lot of people. Duggan worked particularly hard putting a lot of the graphics together for us. Dimble, obviously, on the rebuild as well. So thank you to everyone who has been involved. Let's go to, you wanted to do Whiterose. There we go. So, as you said earlier, Dede is the big omission from the squad for this particular game. So he has dropped into the reserves. Mendonca has been called up, instantly comes into the starting 11, which looks like this. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see it beforehand, Duggan, but it's a narrow tactic.
Yeah, it makes sense in terms of him losing that out and out DML with Dede, and you know he's got 3 AMCs in there that can be class, but you think they're probably just a little bit too early on in the save. And I think one of the things that a couple of us have been a little bit guilty of in terms of this new iteration is looking at some of these players as if they were a kind of the iteration that we finished off with last iteration. Certainly, I know, like, when we come to Dragons, I think one of the things that we've been mentioned is that we've got a great squad, but actually there's a lot of players in there that are like too green at the minute. They're too fresh. They're too young. Mendonca, Marquinhos, and Nicky Ferenko are probably a really good example of that. But Veron in the MC, if he manages to connect that front and back, then Hussein should put the chances away. You just worry with the strength of wing backs that, you know, Burn have and teams have. You just worry that it's too much space down them flanks.
No, absolutely, completely agree. Mac is saying outrageous squad of Stees there. Do you think? I think it's deceptive, because when I did my predictions, I put them lower than a lot of people, because I think they have some players of undeniable quality, but then there's a mix of sort of, and again, it's dangerous comparing it to the last iteration to this one, but they have players of sort of, meh. I mean, don't get me wrong, in real life, yeah, absolutely. But in terms of what we've seen across 11 previous seasons of Super League, meh.
Yeah. For me, the big deal he got over the last deal, I think that transforms that DM line that he's got. I think probably the big question for me is whether Dyer's going to hit the heights that he did in the last build. You know, Steve would quite quickly get to a point where he wishes he cashed in on him in the summer if he doesn't start putting those performances in. But yeah, I think you probably look at Steve's backline and say the centre halves are a worry, but there's definitely talent all over the pitch there.
It's worth pointing out at this stage as well, with the exception of one club who it will become apparent in their team news section, every player currently showing as unhappy just wants a new contract, and they have all been offered new contracts. Northern Burn, as you said, they're off to a flying start, and they have very dangerous wing backs to exploit the lack of width. They do go unchanged again. Are you expecting more excellence from the Burn?
Yeah. So for Steve, I know that Edwards was probably really happy by the time we got to game one and had players that he really likes in terms of home saves. I know he thinks really highly of Bemerton, and he eventually Sigalko coming home. I think, you know, there's only one person that's happy with that deal, and it's not Greavesy at the minute. But yeah, that's it. Again, it's the Northern Burn tactic. It's the Trident tactic. Edwards, you know, swears by it, which is great. Got him a star. And the players are just starting to look as though they feel comfortable within it. Okay. Well, having seen both sides on the screen then, can we have some predictions in the chat? And for the first time tonight, your thoughts on this game, please, sir? I think a 2-1 or a 3-1 Burn, I think. Okay. You'll see that we've got the predictions from Swan going along the bottom of the screen. Northern Burn getting 11 votes in this one, 4 for Rose and 4 for the draw. Let's kick this game off. We've got Alf saying 2-1 Burn. We've got Dan saying 3-1 Burn. Lots of belief in the away side. As we kick off game one of the evening, Greavesy is not bothered. And it is Burn with the first couple of attempts of the half. Only 6 minutes in, quite a bit of text already. Sigalko with an early opportunity, but it's well saved. A yellow card handed out. It'll be interesting to get your thoughts at some point tonight, Duggan, on disciplinary issues at a number of clubs very early in the season and how that may play out. I'm looking forward to it because it means there'll be plenty of players getting a look in throughout the campaign should it continue. Rob predicting 2-0. Why does it auto-assign numbers always give a 4? And just as I say that, Nicky Butt. Oh, that is a huge, huge red card there for Rose, isn't it? Massive. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that first yellow really early on, I think, was inside the first. It was very early. Yeah. He probably stays as is here, I think. Well, looking at what he's got available on the subs bench as well, I'm inclined to agree. Does he maybe drop one of the AMs and bring Ronnie Johnson on? Possibly. I think probably stay as it. The only place on the pitch where Rose are going to win this is that overload of Jeremy's is the 1 PM. Yeah. I'd be surprised if he changes anything, yeah. Well, judging by Thursday's performance, we've got a long time to discuss it because Steve's gone full Alf on us when it comes to making subs. There it is, Johnson for Mendonca.
Wait, hang on. Johnson for Mendonca. That's fine. Left Dmc.
He's putting Johnson
like that, and then like that.
Yeah, that's how it reads to me.
Steve, you could just confirm that's how you want it. I believe, and I'm with you, Duggan. I believe this is what he wants. Crucial time as well. 44 minutes just before half time as well. And we saw again on Thursday, there was a few games with late drama in both halves, mainly goals on Thursday, but this one's a red card a minute before half time.
Yeah, now
they're on set. Oh, no CM. Okay, there we go. He's going like that. Let's go forward to. That was quicker, Steve. Yes, absolutely. Let's continue on to halftime then with Nick, and there is the halftime whistle.
not to give me rational or White Rose being fit, but I thought it's bank holiday beat. And if we let Steve Wright get on to be the second last game after he's been on the bank holiday piss, we'll be here next holiday when fucking King Charles dies. So I thought get him in early and get it done with.
Half-time, the text did suggest to me that Burn were the dominant side. They've got good percentage levels in here in the free categories, which I know some managers don't even bother looking at. I think Ian is one of those that does pay attention to what's going on here. They have created more than their hosts, had more on target as well. Northern Burn continue to do well, and now they've got 45 minutes with the extra man.
Yeah, you're probably looking at that Rose 10 now, and it's probably no surprise that they're behind in tackles and they're behind in headers, because there's nobody in there that you think really stands out, other than maybe Ronnie Johnson coming on, but he's only been on for a little bit, to actually win a header or win a tackle. So Steele just be trying to keep this as tight as possible for as long as possible and hope a little bit of Nicky magic gets it done, I think.
Well, we normally start with the home side, but Ian has already said as is, so we'll just have a very fleeting look at their stats. Strong ratings throughout, a couple of sixes, but no, predominantly sevens. Emerton, you pointed out in the intro, Ian's already said one of his key players. He's the pick of the players in the first half, rating an 8. Share of the ball throughout the team, although you might be expecting these two to maybe be having a bit more involvement.
Yeah, potentially. I think Edwards doesn't like a change, so I think the thing for him is at what point does he try and like a little bit. Steve's kept that kind of block of 3 and 2, so does he kind of push the wingers up into actual out and out wingers and try and kind of exploit that space a little bit? Not sure, but that's a very un-Edwards like thing to do, I think.
No, absolutely. And while you're saying that, I clicked over to White Rose, and I mentioned that I thought he had some excellent players, and it's a couple of those. When you look at Taibbi, you look at Dyer, you look at Veron, they're the ones standing up and trying to offer a bit of resilience against Northern Burn's perceived at least dominance. Yeah,
and like I was saying now, isn't it, that there's nobody in the MC, so you know, if it was going as far as it needed to be, then Steve would probably be saying change it to direct passing or long passing. You worry about that front four now being just totally isolated, I think.
Absolutely. Just waiting. So we've got Carboni coming on at half time. He is coming on for Marquinhos. And Nicky Ferenko moving over to the left-hand side. So Steve is still trying to change things up to get more involved. Do you think Carboni's got the ability to do a job, not just in this game, but in the Super League as a whole?
I know Steve is, and I think probably that matters more than what I think, but you know, I've never used them, so I couldn't really comment 5 feet, to be honest. Just interesting pushing Veron up into that AMC and then seeing how little of the ball Hussein gets at half time to then not drop Veron back, try and connect that play a little bit.
Okay, well, let's see how that pans out till the hour mark as we kick off the second half. Let's see if I can actually get these anywhere near 60 minutes this time. I seem to be out of practice completely the other day. And they pointed spot. Nicky Ferenko from the penalty spot has given the 10 men the lead as we pause the game. That is a game changer. They may have a man less, but they're now a goal up. Both managers with decisions to make here, Duggan.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure Nicky Franco would be the first choice of anyone's penalty takers, to be honest. But I think Steve rolls as is, and now it's whether or not that makes Edwards blink, I think.
Well, we start with the home side. Taibbi there rating a 9, continuing to make save after save. Dyer is the man who got the yellow card in the second half. I'm not sure he would be being subbed off, though. Maybe not in Champ, at least, known for picking up a lot of cards. Definitely picked up a few more in real life. With only a goalkeeper and Ebby Sands available now from the bench, I expect Steve to stay as is.
Yeah, should do.
And there is the as is from Steve. Let's go over to Northern Burn. You said at what point does he go for it with the man extra? Surely that point has come now with being a goal down.
Yeah, I'd maybe push backs up into ML and MR. Castroman can obviously play both wings, I think. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. This is if Edwards makes changes here and kind of gets the 3 points against 10 men, it'll be impressive.
Yeah, because although they have seemed to dominate for large parts, is Duggan live from Edinburgh. Yeah, he is breaking up a little bit. He had to swap very last minute from laptop to phone because he was having mic issues. So this was the connection we got together. But it's holding up a lot better than other people who are live from Edinburgh. So we'll give him a break. Ian also going as is interesting.
If people can let us know audio or video, just I don't know whether I should be on my 5G or the Wi-Fi, so I'm kind of trying to hop.
So from my perspective, when it's coming through, it's clear, but your video is kind of sticking, which is keeping your audio behind, and then it catches up.
All right, as long as the audio sound, nobody wants to see me in me full glory anyway. So as long as the audio sound, mate.
Right, so no changes for either side at this point. Let's see how the rest of the game plays out. There's another yellow card, and then a load of time flies by. Fiore, and it's 1-1. Fiore levels things up for Northern Burn on 78 minutes, and they've still got time to go and find a winner potentially. But it's the home side coming forward, and it's Dyer, fouled by Carlos. Veron lines up the free kick. Carboni picks it up. Veron again. Burn, 5 minutes being added on. Still time for a late winner. It's not bad, don't even compare to McWurstle. We're into those 5 minutes of injury time. Is this Burns' chance? Veron with the tackle, but Sigalko, perfectly timed tackle again. Kuhl, fine save from Taibbi. Sigalko with a header, and it's Emerton. Sigalko, and he's done it in injury time. Northern Burn score in the 94th minute. But White Rose aren't done. It's Nicky Ferenko. Carboni picks it up. Veron. Jeremies is off in injury time. What on earth is happening, Duggan? There is one last chance here for the Rose to level things up. It's all turned to shit. Sigalko scores off of a rebound from Brett Emerton in the 94th minute, and Jeremies gets sent off in the 95th minute.
Wow. This is Super League, boys. Are you not entertained?
I mean, just to flash these up, I'm not sure if you're watching on full screen or if you've got the chat up on along the side, but we've got Macca saying this is tremendous. We've got Jamie saying scenes. What else have we got here? We've got Dan saying madness. Great opener, says Dimble. Oh, it's unbelievable. I love what, and then Greavesy, I love what you've done to the refs, Dims. Let's so Ian has reacted, and Steve, of course, with it being a red card, you are. Oh, we didn't give Ian a chance to change it. I do apologise. Kuhl back to CM. I think that means Keane's going there. Do you still want the arrow, Ian? Does it matter for the minute? Just confirm, please. And Steve, if you want to do anything for this final minute, it's going to be an interesting free kick. Is Veron going to strike it?
Yeah, at least Taribo West's not on the picture.
I'm loving how many games is having injury time drama early on in the season. Arrow, please, says Ian. Steve, if you want to change anything here, I doubt it. To be fair, you're attacking.
One forward.
Everyone as far up as possible.
Get them all on that front.
So we talking kind of like this?
Absolutely. And well, I think. Yeah, go ahead, Steve. Go on, lad.
Are we talking something like this, Steve?
I'm screenshotting that.
Perry loan sent. Oh, he's leaving Perry back.
Oh.
Well, surely that's got to be that way then.
I would surely stick Lucio up there instead of Nicky. Surely.
Do we do something more like that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah? Veron's taking the free kick anyway. If Steve could just confirm he's happy with this. Have at it. Can you translate? Does that mean, yeah, that's fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's, do we slow it down for the free kick as well?
Fun.
Just for drama. This is only game one. He gets to his feet.
He's got enough.
Oh, Johnson's punched Scally! What on earth is going on? How has Johnson got away with it? Oh, he's not yet. He's sent off as well. What the fuck has happened in this game? Okay. So do we kind of just? What the fuck do I do now? Okay, like what on earth has happened? Oh, he wants Perry up now. Okay. I don't even know how to explain what has happened in injury time. Okay.
I love the fact that Dimble's getting pelters in the chat for running in someone else.
Ian, do you want to change anything because it's another red card?
Fuck me.
And Alf saying there's still time for another burn sending off yet. There was only 5 minutes added on originally. We're in the 98th minute.
Have they still got the free kick as well?
I think so. Oh no, there's a final whistle after all that. Boo! Fuck off, referee. He's completely lost all sense of what's happened there. But if you could try and talk us through, never mind the rest of the game, talk us through what happened in injury time, Duggan.
I mean, punches being laid out left, right, and centre. Martin got a card. Ronnie Johnson got a card. Sigalko scored, all within one band of text. I think the first thing I'll say, Fifey, is Ian Edwards must be an absolutely brilliant poker player, because he did not blink, he did not change a thing until he absolutely had to, and again played that trident, got absolute confidence in him, and his boy's got the goal. Sigalko's got the goal.
Let's flip you over to the match stats screen then, and Burn arguably over the course of both halves did deserve the victory.
Yeah, I thought first half they were really poor. Really didn't see much of them in the text at all. But it's been rumble in the jungle at the end there. That is absolutely class. What a game to start us off. Slight improvement on Rose's kind of headers and tackles one, but nothing too massive. I think, listen, Steve, you kind of just say it for dead egg. Absolute 3-month injury, and then your players lobbing punches at people's jaws left, right. But I think it'll be interesting to see how he plays next game, because he's missing half his squad now.
So let's have a look, starting with the home side. So 8's the highest individual ratings. That's for Toby, Dyer, Perry, and Nicky Forenko. When they did manage to venture forward, they did look like they might score, but you're looking at the likes of maybe Hussein there, thinking that you need a little bit more from him. But because they did play a half against an informed side with 10 men, can you maybe forgive some lower ratings?
Yeah, I think it's that once you remove that, it's always the risk that you take with those kind of formations. Even when you play like 2, 4, 3, and 1, it's always the risk you play in terms of connecting the two halves of the pitch. Really, I think it's absolutely no consolation to Steve, but he's just got the game's absolutely fucked him there. He was 1-0, he was 1-0 up. He was looking great, and the game's just not having that. Fuck that. And as made his players take MDMA at half time and go absolutely. I mean, What can you do? This game, he said when Taribo West scored that 90th minute winner against us on Thursday, they put like, oh, this game is a cruel mistress, and too fucking right it is, Steve.
Let's have a look at Northern Burn. Emerton, the man we spoke about a few, both pre-match and at halftime, picking up man of the match for his performance. Neil Scally there as well. Look at that, the 9 out of 10 rated performance. Jeremy's will obviously be a big loss in the next game, but you look at Shiotis as well, who first season isn't normally a lot of people's go-to goalkeeper if they were to have the choice, but he's certainly helped earn the points tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Brett Emerton can only play that DMR. He's awful everywhere else, but to see him doing so well so early on in the save is ominous. And Edwards kind of putting Scally into that second CM and not having to feel obliged to go 2-4 with the 1 CM and have Neil Scally as a DM is credit to him. Yeah, absolutely. Steve said Emerton's a far cry from the last save. We had him at Dragons and he probably had one good game or a couple of good games, really. We would nearly cash him in for David Prutton at one point. So yeah, it's a far cry from the last save. And I think having played a few test saves and seeing how these players can just go nuts overnight, build, I think it's ominous that Burn are looking so good so early on.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you to both managers for putting on an entertaining curtain raiser for us. Congratulations to Burn. Commiserations to White Rose. Look forward to seeing what you both put out next week. Let's go to game number 2, and that is East Coast at home to Fulchester. We start with the home side here. They are without the injured Santa Cruz. Cordoba also unavailable. And Dimble has actually gone with the Super League textbook formation as opposed to his formation. What do you make of that?
I really like it. I know Dimble for formations based on odds that he's had, really. But this looks solid front to back, and it's if every player does what they're in there to do, the simple stuff, tackles, headers, passes, then there's enough quality there up top. If he keeps Anelka happy this season, then he's going to be banging them in. Has he scored? Yeah.
Has what? Sorry.
Has Anelka scored yet?
Yes, he's got 2 and 2.
Right. Okay.
They are outright favourites in the predictions, as you'll see ticking along the bottom. 14, I believe, of 19 predictions, or is it 14 of 17, have put East Coast to win this one. But as you say, it just looks so solid front to back. And when you look at players not involved, there is still other talent within the team should he need it as well. So they should be a team to be feared.
Yeah. Dimble's done with worse players. See what he does this season.
No, absolutely. Let's have a look at the away side then. And Fulchester, we mentioned in the first game about considering the last iteration. That's exactly what Mac has done. As you'll notice by the tactic name, he's gone to an old Fulchester tactic with his current squad. What do you make of the front three? We've got Vieri, who has had let's say, a testing Super League heritage. Michael Owen, much the same. And Nicolai, who doesn't always get a look in.
Yeah, we had a guy in the last bit, and he missed a couple of open goals in a couple of big games. So hopefully he doesn't do that for Maka. The 4 across the middle against the 4 DM line, when I've played 4 across the middle, I've always came unstuck against kind of the players playing the 4 DMs. So based on kind of my experience, I think that this is only going to go one way. But like I said at the start, I don't think Macca's squad is half as bad as what he thinks. It's not half as good as what the Fulchester season 4 squad was, but it's not as bad as what he thinks. And Macca's one of those people who's miles better at the game than me and most of the people in the league, so that counts for something as well.
So again, I ask, having seen both teams now on the screen, your score prediction for this one, please.
I think this would be 3-1 East Coast, I think.
3-1 to East Coast. Let's kick off and find out. East Coast starting quite quickly, looking for an early goal. Fine save there by Fulchester goalkeeper. Lots of white and green text early doors. Morientes getting involved. Baumer comes forward again. A gap. Morientes it is who opens the scoring on 28 minutes to give the home side the lead. And there's Anelka making it 2. And it could be a long, long night here for Fulchester if East Coast continue this level of pressure. He's already in the chat, but before the goals went in, put well played, Dims, and now putting lols. There's a couple of yellow cards handed out in this first half. Are we going to see more referees trying to steal the headlines away? There's absolutely no need to apologise. It's still better than we've had previously, and that's not even since we did StreamYard. We also had some very dodgy ones on Zoom. Mac has said he predicted 4-0 to Cosmos, and it is 2 at the break. And you would suggest, looking at that Coast have been dominant, Duggan.
Yeah, and they're much more clinical than we were against Fulchester the other day. Be interested to see how Valgaren's doing, because he was man of the match last game in a 9, obviously, and just won absolutely everything that came in there. And I think Anelka and Morientes have both got 20 finishing, even on kind of a day one save. So
Anelka's 16, Morientes is 20.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, clinical, East Coast, and again, that kind of back tier really doing the job it needs to do well.
And a man you know very well, Balmer, is working incredibly hard. He's got an assist already tonight. He's winning his headers. He's getting involved in the passes. He's won 50% of his tackles. Very, very good player out on that left-hand side.
Yeah, I particularly build. He was solid. Wasn't really spectacular. Didn't ever feature from doing the stats kind of at the top end of the stats, really. So he's definitely one I'd like to see do miles better this build than the last.
And then as for Fulchester, it's just not been very good, unfortunately. You asked about Valgaren. He's actually been the worst player on the pitch this time round. Really seems to be struggling, rating of 5. I know you tend to look out for this, but particularly the way the early games have been going, would you be concerned looking that you've got 4 yellow cards and 2 of those are for Taribo, West and Gattuso?
Yeah, I think West would be the worst. I think it's 50-50 in terms of the community, whether you think West is good enough to be playing Super League or not. Macca hasn't really got much choice beyond that, to be honest. But I think Vieri definitely has a red card in him because he's an absolute hothead. Taribo West could come a little bit unstuck, I think.
Tato saying that Dims will turn over most teams this season with the side that he's created. The confirmation of the changes it in. So Owen for Nikolai, and then Nikolai for Luis Enrique is the only change. Do you understand why Mac has made that one?
Probably, and I don't know. Looks into the Luis Enrique is the more FC AMC than.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely that's very true. Let's kick off the second half then and see if Fulchester can get themselves back into this one. And they have started early, trying to get the goals. Morientes, though, up the other end on the counter-attack. And there's a glorious chance for free missed by East Coast there, but they continue to build the pressure. We are seeing a little bit more from blue and white text, though. So poor at the back, says Macca. We pause the game, I think about 66, 67 minutes. Bishkan continuing to, his rating continues to rise in this game, which shows that Fulchester are getting themselves back into this.
Yeah, I think the first. Be interesting to see if Dimble kind of holds Sol Campbell here or if he gets him off.
Let's find out. Also, I'm interested to know people's thoughts. Obviously, I've tried something different with the ticker. I've gone a bit Sky Sports News in terms of team news before the games, and as per requested, going along during the game, I've got tonight's results. So just the one game ticking along over and over again. But we'll continue to change the presentation as you guys come up with ideas what you want. But let me know what you think to tonight's, and we'll continue with it if you like it. We'll go back if you don't. Dimble saying roll, please. When you see that Ashley Cole's there, Klaas-Jan Huntelaar's there, very young version though, isn't it? Would you be changing much here? I mean, he's got to just try and get back in the game, hasn't he?
Again, it's the fourth in the Australian Super League, or the Australian League. Do you maybe push Alex and Seedorf up a little bit, or do you go 2 DMs and stick with Kelmir Central with a bigger arrow and move it off Luis Enrique? he's probably, whatever he decides, has probably got to come within the 11 that are on the pitch rather than making changes. I think this is the first time Max went back to the old tactic, though, I think, this season, hasn't it? I think he hasn't played the kind of old full tactic yet, so it'll be interesting to see if it stays on a roll, Fifey.
Well, he is saying roll, so we carry on. With Coast still 2 goals to the good. Let's see if they can make it interesting, and we'll slow the commentary down. But while it's 2 goals, we'll leave it as is. Materazzi, the latest to go in the book. 78 now on the clock. They're still coming forward, though, Fulchester, trying to get one back. And they have. And we're into injury time. Anelka, terrible effort. Are we going to see more injury time drama? No is the answer. We did get one back on 87, but it was not enough. And East Coast win again, Duggan.
3 out of 3 good, and you're probably starting to get to a point where the key players are starting to absolutely love life and having that high morale as well, which is a massive difference for me. I know some people think it's a bit of a myth, but yeah, well played, Dems. Unlucky, Mark. Yeah, unlucky, mate. No shame.
Igor Bishkan does take the Man of the Match award. Although his rating did drop to an 8, the ratings do look pretty solid throughout, don't they?
Yeah, and Vogel there as well looks really, really good. Probably a little bit hard done by that. He hasn't got Man of the Match, to be honest.
Jens suggesting that Coast and Burn are already playoff confirmed after 3 games. Let's move over to Fulchester. To be fair, a lot of the ratings, yes, 7 is sort of the average people are looking for. But if you look at that in connection with individual performances, there are positives there for Mac to take into the next game, aren't there?
Yeah, I don't mean this in like, I really rate Mac on this game, but to only come away having been beat 2-1 with what I think are 2 teams that look radically different in terms of form, in terms of the players, in terms of the tactic, and the players within that, I don't think that's too bad. And he scored against the Dimble side that are always solid at the back. So I know Mac is forever the pessimist, but East Coast are going to be top 3 this season, and there's not going to be many times that people go to East Coast and get 3 points. So yeah, he probably knows a little bit more about his squad now than he did 90 minutes ago. But we'll see where he ends up.
Well, we are ending up at Vikings at home to the Pirates Celtics. So let's have a look at the home side first. They have brought Mark Overmars in on loan. He doesn't make the squad, just the one change with Bode coming in on the left-hand side from their last game. They're one of the teams that were predicted to finish well down there. Jens wasn't overly enthused, although part of that, I imagine, was him playing the card of the narrative, I suppose. What do you make of the Vikings squad and the start they've made?
I said the best signing Vikings did was awesome. Really smart move from Jens. Most of us play top teams, top leagues, by the same. I think in terms of if you do get burnt by the draft, you do get burnt by the actual draw, you need somebody to come in that knows wider players across the place. Horse was the best signing Jens made this season. Once he came, I'm much more confident about them doing well, and I think they've looked fairly solid. They haven't been spectacular, but I don't think they've been the kind of whipping boys that people were expecting them to be. And from kind of talking to Jens and stuff, what's really great about him is I don't think he has any shame in kind of saying, like, I've brought a horse in because that's what the team needs, and he's got what I haven't, and they seem to be working really, really well together, which is class.
And when you see the prediction ratings from Swan Super League Super 7, who would have thought, again, only a couple of games in, but 17 out of 19 would be predicting them not to lose at least. 10 victories, 7 draws.
Yeah, and it's the performances that they put in and how solid they've looked, I think.
Let's have a look then at the away side, who currently sit 13th, having lost both of their games so far. Are you surprised, given the whole narrative around Greavesy, his character, what his teams possess? You see his team, they've got Takanadi, Davids, Redondo, Zaleas, Maldini, Stam. They have conceded 5 goals in their first 2 games.
Yeah, the biggest surprise I had was when he didn't play 2-4, or when he didn't look as though he was going to play 2-4. And he's went and got Davids, and then kind of has played him CM. And I'm waiting for the comment from him that Dragons played him CM. Have another decent CM. It's almost like, Greavesy said, wait until I kind of get back to the new build, and has then done something massively un-Greavesy-like in terms of the formation he's played. Against Dimble on Thursday night, I thought there was some like very un-Greavesy-like decisions in terms of players he was playing, the position he was playing them in, the subs that he was making.
So there's the starting 11 against Dimble.
Yeah, and not to be, for a Greavesy team, not to be 2-4 with 1 or 2 CMs and then the strikers above them, I think's really surprising, considering he's built this team kind of in his own image, really, and was one of the first to move on transfers. I think
Yep.
he was first to get all these deals done. Raul should absolutely smash the Super League, and I've had him twice now at 2 clubs, and he's absolutely horrific. His stats tell you he should be a world beater. He's a Zidane, looks great, but just does not turn up, especially at AMC. But I think, Greavesy's good enough, and he is good. I'm not going to slag him off in terms of his ability at the game, but he's been poor for a while now in terms of kind of 3 or 4 seasons where, 3 seasons where he's not really been one of the teams that attract the attention.
Okay.
So yeah, he needs to escape the pit of misery tonight, doesn't he?
Let's find out if he can. As we go to match centre, and I ask you, Vikings versus, is it Tortuga Celtics? How are you viewing it in terms of a score prediction, please?
2-1.
2-1 to Vikings?
Yeah.
2-1 to Vikings is the prediction from the studio. Let's kick this off and find out if you are correct. Early chance to the home side. I would like your thoughts, actually, as someone who's brought in sort of unfanciable looking midfielders into the Super League before. Your thoughts on Walker at centre midfield for a Super League team? I'll get those from you at halftime as Zeles goes in the book. Vikings want a penalty. Referee says no. Harking back to the days of old where Jens' side just do not get penalties. Crespo there getting involved, trying to score, fails to hit the target. Raul getting involved now, trying to create for his side. And there's Carlos Shax with his first goal for the Vikings on 42 minutes to give his side the lead. They come forward again. Maldini goes in the book. Shax again with another opportunity. And they finish the half strong, don't get a second. But as the whistle goes, it is Vikings 1, Celtics 0, Duggan.
Justin Walker, a Rolls Royce of a CM, just like Richie Wellens. And in the match report, I think we had a Raul must score there, Fifey, and he missed it. So that'll be a killer.
Standard.
That'll be a killer for Celtics. I think it looked pretty even, but it looked end to end. And I was just about to say the first goal is massive.
And that it absolutely is. And that went to the home side, who we will look at here. Quim, another new name into the Super League. He started the season well, rating a 9 after his first half performance. Shows that Celtics are offering something. Cannavaro and Desai putting in strong defensive performances as well. And I actually think, because Vikings were one of the sides that I said with Rose that I predicted them lower than a lot of people thought. I put Vikings a bit higher than some other people, and I actually think that. Yes, they've got the likes of Crespo in their squad and Alan Smith, someone I rate very highly. But when you see the likes of Silvestri, Cannavaro, they've got Addo on the bench. I think whatever success they have this year will come from a strong defensive line.
Yeah, and still not getting Riyad onto the pitch as well. So, such is the kind of the talent they've got in that final third in terms of AMCs and strikers, that Wael Riyad, who I think is class, and I certainly know one other manager thinks he's class, isn't getting the sniff, really.
Absolutely. Let's have a look then at the away side. Shevchenko on a 5. He's another player. He's never quite put in that same sort of Raul Zidane list, but should he be?
Absolutely. The only person that's ever got a marker, to be fair, I think. And that might have been in the 3 up top, the backwards arrow on one of them. There's a nailed on Celtics red card coming here, 100%.
With Maldini, Zeles and Shevchenko already on yellows?
Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if David does something stupid.
Both managers keeping it as is till 60. So let's roll on and see what the second half has to offer. And it's 2, and it's Mike Duff on 51 minutes. Makes it 2-0 to the home side. And there's Raul with his first ever goal. Makes it 2-1. As we pause the game on 61 minutes, a couple of goals before the substitutes interval. Makes it very interesting for the last half an hour.
Yeah, I going Rayad for Extabiria here, I think, and leaving the rest as is.
Interesting. Why would you be doing that?
I haven't seen Extabiria's name mentioned much in the text, and I'm not sold on him as an AMC. I think Rayad is kind of in the same mold as Ajax, really.
Are you thinking Etsabaria is kind of better positioned as Duff's understudy?
Yeah, I like him as a DMR. I know he's not fantastic. I think in 2 iterations before this one, I think he might have been good. I tried to get him in at Dragons last season, but Tato flapped around the deal, and I had Ariel Ortega, which I wasn't really happy with.
Well, Jens has agreed with your sentiment there. Etsabaria off, Rayad on is the change. Let's move over. We can always go back if Jens wants to do anything else and have a look at Celtics. That goal coming just before the break, crucial now, and changes some decision making, you might imagine.
Yeah, and it probably Brozek or Sheva is the one that makes the most, I think. And then he maybe moves around the kind of front line, but I'm not sure.
Right, so I think reading this, so we've got Raul's going up front, Darko's been swapped with Joe Cole, if I've read that correctly, and Brozek is coming on for Shevchenko, as you said. So that changes the front line now with Joe Cole in behind.
I think that looks miles better to me. Yeah, that looks miles better, to be fair, Greavesy.
And let me just make sure that is right before I confirm it. Brozek for Shev and Cole for Darko, swap with Raul. Yeah, that's what we've done. And Jens is also making a second change, which we'll go back and do now, with Alan Smith coming on to play the lone striker role in place of Crespo for the last half an hour.
Yeah, Alan Smith.
I do.
Really put out in the Super League to see how good he is, but I really like Alan Smith.
Well, we've already had 3 goals in this game. Let's see what is to come in the last half an hour. Substitutes made. And we have an injury. And it's a big one. Paolo Maldini. They've got a ready-made replacement, so we will just do that. We won't even wait for Greavesy. But that could be a big loss. 20 minutes to play, losing your captain like that.
It could be a big age.
Quite possibly. Let's resume the action then. 20 minutes to play, still 2-1 to the home side. The free kick comes to nothing.
But if he hit but he wants him swapped with that, I think Celtics concede.
Okay. Free kick. There we go.
Came late, but I'd here for you to be blamed.
No, it's a great spot. I didn't even see the second comment come through, so thank you very much. So that's been done. Jacques steps up. 74 now on the clock. Desai save Peruzzi, but Elias is there to cover the fumble. And now the away side tries to come forward. And it's Rayad, Emerson, Saeed obstructs, free kick given. Elias sends it in, but Quinn continues to just gather everything up that comes into the area. Into the final 10 minutes. As the home side come forward again. Walker chasing. Now Saeed. Oh, it's gone horribly, horribly wrong for Saeed there. Excellent tackle though. And they come forward again. CLS picks up loose ball, and now Raul. Oh, it's over the bar. 4 minutes to be added on. We're just entering those 4 now as the away side comes forward. And there's a yellow card for Saeed. Shulgatos sends over the free kick. There, Saeed clears. CLS picks it up. Emerson, Smith. And there's another strike. One last chance, maybe. Sylvestre picks up the long ball. Free kick given. And now Joe Cole's had to go off injured. Well, nothing we can do here. He's used all his subs.
He's done well. Now it's Greavesy, isn't he?
Emerson pushing. Wow, there's a lot of pushing going on. Evan Nielsen goes in the book. And Walker! Walker scored! Was that Walker or did Smith get there? No, it was Walker. In the 95th minute, Justin Walker scores his first ever Super League goal. And the men who brought him in will be absolutely delighted by that. Full-time whistle goes, and Vikings win 3-1.
That is impressive. And yeah, that partnership of Horse and Viking is going to be good this season. I'm keeping my powder dry here with Greavesy because the Dragons could quite easily be 3 with no wins tonight. But yeah, he's going to have to make big changes, I think.
Well, he has just said there, changes are coming. Evening, Ryan. Welcome to the new version of the Super League. Hope you are well, sir. Let's have a look at the home side. Cannavaro getting man of match. I mean, again, I kind of alluded to it at half-time there, but look how many... They've scored 3 goals, but look how many strong defensive performances there are in that team.
Yeah, and the thing with and DMRs, that's more impressive, more space, more opportunity, but still just absolutely solid. And I think Quim is probably starting to turn the heads of a lot of managers in the Super League now. He's making a claim to be up there.
Let's move over to the away side and see if you can find any positives for Greavesy here with which to go forward with.
Not many, being totally honest, many. He's looking at them injuries and thinking about how big they're going to be now. In terms of him wanting to make changes, it limits the changes that he wants to make, because now he's definitely without a starting centre half and definitely without probably one of those AMs that want to come in and have a bit of a sniff. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. Especially, you know, when we've seen Greavesy make changes in the past, he's kind of reverted back to that 2-4-2 and been really solid. But the reality is that those of us down the bottom now are chasing points, so your draws aren't good enough now, even this early.
No, absolutely. Well, congratulations to the Vikings, who win this game this evening and get another valuable 3 points early on in the season. Where are we going next? We are going to Gazelles, and they are at home to Triple P. They are without Vrede and Oliseh, who are both on their way back from injury. They make just 1 change from memory, and it is, where is he on the list? Galka coming in for Petrov. Again, so we already kind of said it at the start, but they weren't a fancied side. But as you've already mentioned, Dan's form back end of last season when he got more involved with Gazelles, it's perhaps not surprising they've had a good start.
Yeah, he's definitely shown he deserves a place at the top table, to be honest. And again, I don't think this is a fantastic 11 front to back, but it's 11 that he's taken ownership of. And, you know, he got a lot of stick from some quarters for some of the transfer deals he did. But, you know, if you're good at the game and you get your players in and they start performing, then that's kind of the validation that you need, really. Like I said, you know, I would like to see him do well. I like it when new people come into the league and offer something a little bit different. I think it's good. It's what the league needs constantly. So yeah, hopefully he'll not at the expense of Rob tonight. I don't know how much Rob can deal with this PPP side being the way they have been.
And again, Gazelles go into this game as overwhelming favourites in Swan's predictions. Let's go into the away side, and you did say it was coming, and Rob has made changes to the tactic for this game.
Wow, what was 3 at the back is starting formation in been a decent while. So what's 3 at the back, and then when they've got the ball, it's 3-2-2-3. So yes, just very little in the middle of the pitch, which could be a concern with that 4 across the middle for Gazelles. But I want the old Rob Sloth back. I want Rob Sloth like winning 6-3 or losing 5-1. Do you know what I mean? He's been boring for a long while now, and he's obviously been spending too much time with his pasta machine and with his Centre Parks holidays. I think he's forgotten who he is, and quite frankly, the People's Republic are absolutely disgusted with him, to be honest, mate.
We've got predictions already coming in. Alf saying that Gazelles win 2-1. Tato saying Gazelles win 4-0. Let's head to match centre, and you can offer your prediction, sir.
Gazelles resounding victory by 2 or 3.
Okay, very, very good. Let's see if the confidence in them is well-founded, or if PPP can kickstart their season. It's very much like the home side have started the quickest. 6-0 Gazelles is the prediction from Rob himself. Ian Edwards saying 3-2 to the home side. Finally, Beckham is out wide, but he has 3 at the back. Well, Grim, says Tato. Not a lot of love in the chat for the 3 at the back formation, but we are at half time. Just waiting for the whistle to go. Pizarro with the last chance to half. They've held out so far, kept Gazelles to 0, and are very much in the game, our PPP.
Yeah. For a beer, but saw Pizarro's name quite a bit, and I think he's definitely established himself at that top table of strikers, I think. Didn't see much of that, mate, so I can't really comment.
That's fine. Why don't you just comment on the numbers you can see in front of you? And all the key men from Gazelle's perspective, like some Mendieta and Nedved, they are seeing the ball, but I mean, I'm looking at Nedved's figures there. 12 passes, 4 completed. None of his tackles won, no shots on goal. He needs more.
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry with the likes of Nedved, Aldo, and those kind of softer players. You would probably say more creative players, that they're not going to go about it and do their dirty work. Probably a little bit of a case of so many arrows from PPP as well just makes it that little bit harder to kind of, get kind of pick men up if you're playing zonal marking and get kind of tackle things. And Dan's moved quite quickly there with a change straight away.
Yeah, and it is Nedved being taken out. Dan clearly concerned by his lack of influence on the game so far. Let's move over to Triple P. Ryan in the chat saying it's been all PPP so far. Ningmatulin, he's one of those goalkeepers, isn't he, that for the most part he will do well and then he will throw in a shocker at some point.
Yeah, I had him in the first ever Swamp, and he was either unbelievable and saving everything or letting in 5 or 6. So, but I think he's been okay so far. I'm not sure what Rob kind of does here in terms of changes. The 3 at the back, I mean, do you need the 3 at the back? Do you ship one of them into MC and kind of try and get the ball a little bit more, or do you go with another one? He goes as is. This is a new improved Rob Sloth.
Nigmatulin to have a mare second half, says Martin. Let's kick off the second half then and see what is to come. Gazelle's trying to get out that 3 at the back as early as possible. Petit getting involved for the away side. Pizarro again, as you said, heavily involved for the Gazelles. And Pizarro does score. Oh, it's been disallowed. On the hour mark, Pizarro has a goal disallowed for Adilson being offside. Ruslan is a top DJ in Russia nowadays. Excellent knowledge, Ryan. So goal disallowed on the hour mark. It did look like Gazelles were dominating up to that point.
Yeah, unless it's been massive I think you go as is. They've looked miles better since the second half kicked off, I think.
And as is the early call from Dan. So we'll go straight over to the pool party. I mean, I'm looking at this now. Do you throw Palermo on? Like you say, do you maybe take one of these off, throw Wellens in there? Do you move Zidane there maybe and add Palermo and make this a 2? There's options available.
Get in, Rob Sloth. Get in.
So we've got Roque Jr. off for Richie Wellens. 2 at the back, arrow forward on Wellens. So I'm presuming he means a little bit like that.
Get on.
Will that help them in terms, obviously it's designed to help them in attack, but can you see Wellens' influence on the attack being able to outdo what they've lost defensively there?
It's in the front body 3 with that middle of the pitch, I think. Gazelles look massively on top, but we'll see.
Rob saying, would rather attack and lose than draw. Is that much more of the Rob Sloth mentality you're looking for?
How we should all be.
Let's resume the action then and see what happens. Pizarro with another opportunity. Welland's already being warned by the referee. And there's Rivaldo to open the scoring for the home side. It's 1-0 to Gazelles. Free kick now as they look for a second. Rivaldo, Adilson, Deisler. Corner kick to the home side. Boring match, typical from the Taunton Terror, says Jens in the chat. Oliveira comes forward. Rivaldo's pushed. Petit is warned by the referee. Rivaldo to strike it, deflects off the wall. Heading towards the final 10 minutes as Mpenza picks it up. Now Makalele, Roy Mackay. Wellens is offside. The home side come forward again. It's Deisler over the bar. Superb play, though, as we're into the final 10 minutes. I will come back to Dan's point about Vikings in just a second, because Di Biagio now picks up, and Rivaldo, Adilson, Oliveira, Mendieta. Well saved by Nigmatulin. 2 minutes to be added on. Adilson puts it over from the header, and another header. Now Pizarro on the volley. Another one skied high. It's all the home side. Di Biagio now. Deisler dives. Maybe I read that wrong. We're into injury time. George Costa picks it up. Petit, Makalele, Zidane. Safe Bartes can't hold on to it, but Mendieta's there to cover for him. Pizarro, Deisler. That should be just about it. Roy Mackay, difficult chance from distance, doesn't manage to score, and Gazelles win yet again, Duggan.
Yeah, well, there's not many league that would be giving Rivaldo the time of day. I think that's his second goal of the season. Might have even got an assist to go with it as well. So yeah, fair play, Dan. You're doing really well, mate.
I was reading as that was going on, Dan saying there are a few comments on me being a difference at Vikings, but Yen is actually the man who is getting it right, spot on tactically. I'm sure that will be discussed over coming game weeks. Let's look at that. And Luigi Di Biagio getting man of the match in this particular contest. We did see his name, particularly in the second half, getting more and more involved. But it's just one of these performances again. And they're certainly one of those teams who it's a solid team effort for 90 minutes, isn't it? And what they have got is they've got that ever dependable man between the sticks who very, very rarely lets you down.
Yeah. Listen, the biggest compliment I think I will probably pay them is you look at those names that are highlighted there, and I think there's probably Bartes, Chivu, Mendieta, Pizarro that people would be kind of climbing over you to get hold of. Everybody else, you know, you wouldn't get any knocks on the door about, but Dan likes them. They're his guys, and he's done really well. Oh, that's a Martin comment. So fuck Gazelles.
Let's have a look at the away side. He changed the tactic. It still didn't quite work. And crucially, the thing that straight away stood out for me, Emil Mpenza rating a 5.
It's been a while, hasn't it? Like the back end of that, he wasn't particularly great.
Nope.
I know Rob was sick of people asking him about Mpenza. It wouldn't surprise me if he cashes in on him. No, Scott, you haven't played yet, mate.
I haven't got a decomposing body. No, Scott, you haven't. Yeah, Scott did send me instructions. He did think he wasn't going to make it. It's good that he is, though, and his game will probably now pop up. But he did send me instructions in case he wasn't on. But congratulations to Gazelles, who have done a fine job here tonight and picked up yet another 3 points. And it is Bostock we go to next. They are away to Haggis, who have had a terrible start to their title defence. I think, again, this is a team that has some real quality in it, but I said from game week 1 when Ian was on co-coms, I don't think he's necessarily playing his strongest 11 at all times. What have you made to their start?
So it's not sorry to be a pedant, Fifey, but it's a new build, new iteration. So this counts for absolutely nothing, much to the annoyance of the danger with this was always that Rox, I have a ton of respect for Rox and the kind of way he plays the game and his knowledge, and he's in the horse category for me in terms of people that know the game much better than me. But he plays in a very particular way, and that game is very different how Ian Campbell plays the game, if at all. And I think that was always a kind of a recipe for disaster, really getting somebody else to kind of draft your picks and build your squad and do your transfer business, and then you having to put that into a tactic that you had a phenomenal 11 front to back with and trying to hope it does the same. But there's enough in this to turn it around. He's down there in the pit of misery with the four of us. You know, he's probably to get out of it and pull away, but you know, it isn't much harder than Bostock.
When you do see this 11, I mean, there is still plenty quality in it, and they should still be making it difficult for opponents.
Yeah, the danger is it's worlds away from the players that you had playing in these key positions last season in the last build. But if the instructions are the same as like a Jeremy's or a Stam, now instead you've got a season one Okarongo and someone else in there, then it's probably not going to do this thing. But yeah, listen, it's not a bad side, but it's not particularly great either.
Let's have a look at the away side then. And you mentioned it earlier, but they go unchanged again.
Yeah, and I got no shame in kind of saying I was really surprised in the amount of testing that I've done, how well Bostock were doing. Really didn't expect them to be doing so good with AI formations in a home test, and that's when it's ominous, when they're playing like a flat 4-4-2 and turning by the likes of Dimble and me. That's when you probably know that there's something in the actual players they've got squads to do something. And then Scott's tactics and his formation is solid, and again, he's no mug at the game. So you've got two teams now on 9, 3 out of 3, and Bostock are probably going to join them.
Well, 15 of the 19 people in the predictions have backed them to win this game. We've already seen predictions come through, although Alpha's gone 2-2. Your score prediction, please?
I'm going to say 3-0 Bostock, and I'm just going to get a charger lead from my phone. I'll be 2 seconds, mate.
No worries, pal. Let's kick off the action as Haggis entertain Bostock Stanley. Say Roberto involved nice and early. Boa Morte goes in the book. Free kick. Haggis has certainly been causing a couple of problems early doors. Lots of quality outside. Bostock 15-2. That's very, very accurate. Haggis are working very hard. Bostock do take the lead. It's Aymar on 37 minutes. And the text there saying it looked harsh. Montella makes it 2. And suddenly, after what was a promising sort of half an hour for Haggis at the start of the game, it's all fallen away. And Bostock are doing what is suddenly becoming Bostock things. Half-time, Haggis 0, Bostock Stanley 2. 5 attempts on goal from the away side, 4 on target, 2 of them converted. A very good pass completion rate. Scott may be looking for slightly higher here. He did send me his instructions and he did say he was driving. So let me just double check what those were. We'll deal with the away side first. As Duggan rejoins us, we're at half-time, pal, and despite Haggis looking good for the first half an hour, Bostock are 2-0 up.
Yeah, not surprising. I obviously didn't get any of it, but who got the goals for Bostock?
It was Aymar first and then Montella a couple of minutes later.
Yeah, I mean, the guys are rocking up and scoring goals. What's Montella's stats looking like season 1?
I will click on those just while I bring this up. So the instructions were Collins on at halftime if either AMC are on a 6. Del Piero, no. Totti, no. Cabello on at halftime or 60 if Montella is on a 6. Well, that's almost certainly not happening. So that's very easily done from a Bostock perspective. Make sure Scott hasn't put anything in the chat to the contrary. No, can't see that either. So let's go over. I will very quickly, just so when he watches this back, he can see his halftime stats. Surprising to see the three men at the top end of the pitch seeing so little of the ball. But what they are doing, particularly Montella, is when he's getting it, he's having devastating effect. What do Haggis do here to change his situation?
So Bostock are playing that 2-2 and then the 3 across the middle, aren't they? So you maybe try and overload the AMs. He's got Olosidabi on the bench. Maybe that's a shout. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a decent move. ML against ML and MR against MR, really. Yeah, fair play.
Is there any additional substitutions, Ian? And are you happy? I kept the long arrows as that's what they had, or do you want them dropping back to little arrows? If you can just let me know before we continue to the second half. Alf leaning into his screen to inspect here, says Dimble. What else have we got? Campbell needs to tell Zé Roberto to fix his 11, preferably to Vikings, says Jens. I'm waiting to really see a team completely change it up in a second half. Like we've seen, Bostock are the better side. They haven't exactly dominated. I know you didn't see the first half, but I'm waiting to see a team like Haggis now turn it around completely, dominate a half, and come from like a 2-goal down to win 3-2. But there are so many quality sides. If a team gets a lead like this, it's difficult to really turn it around, isn't it?
Yeah, I absolutely didn't. Yeah, I mean Edwards that's probably why it was so impressive from Burn tonight, because he just held 3-0. Because he just held the fort really and just trusted what he had on the pitch.
Yep. And it's 3-1. Scholes scores for Haggis. What an opening 5 minutes to the second half this is. And they want a penalty. They get a penalty. Khan's been sent off. This one is not over by a long stretch. If Haggis can score this. So Mazzantini will be coming on. Scott, if you're listening in the car, even if you tell Tato who it is, let me know who you want to bring off for the goalkeeper. That goal coming from Scholes when it did, now with this penalty, is crucial, Duggan.
Yeah, he probably drops one of the AMs, maybe takes the arrow off the ML and MR, and then tries to hold.
We got Steve saying Reds.
Del Piero, he's in. I'm guessing he's driving, so Del Piero for the keeper, and then Scott. I'm guessing you probably want Totti central. Just give us a safe. Don't go right in the car off, lad.
What do you make of Mazzantini coming on here? Is he a goalkeeper you'd back to save a penalty in a key situation?
I think he's as good a backup as anybody else has in the league, I think.
We'll just wait for some sign from either Scott or Tato about Totti before we carry on. And then after the penalty's taken, we'll be stopping it again in a minute anyway for the 60-minute subs. We already have Scott's instructions for that, as we know, but it certainly will be interesting. Haggis are a side who have selected their penalty taker. Where do you stand on this? Do you think the game would always pick the best penalty taker, or is it right that the manager picks?
I always like to leave it because if you pick one and then miss, you kind of wonder what could have been. If the miss in the game's picked it, then it's an easy cop out, isn't it?
No, absolutely. Free, mate. Oh, how many beers? So that's Steve's reply, 3. Let's go with just the substitution for now, because we are going to be stopping it in a second for tactical changes anyway. We'll slow it down for the penalty. This could be crucial in this game, and Khan sending off as well for the next fixture. Here comes Mazzantini. Figo steps up, and Mazzantini does save it. Wow. Figo was selected as the penalty taker. He misses the opportunity. The substitute goalkeeper with a save. And then all the 60 minutes flies by with nothing happening. So we pause the game on 73. What do you make of it when you select a penalty taker and he misses against the substitute then?
You hate yourself for not letting the computer decide. Haggis have looked much better second half, miles better. The frustration will be that he's went back now to the formation that he's been playing and hasn't worked, and now he looks better for doing that. Zerberto and Figo look miles better at ML and MR.
And look at Magnus Hedman rating just a 4 at this stage. Paul Scholes, on the other hand, 9 out of 10 performance. Looking at the substitutes bench, still got what? With injury time, 20 minutes to play. Is there enough there to still get back in it with the extra man?
Probably not, but kitchen sink, I think, 3 up tops probably.
Well, he's replacing Hedman. David Seaman's coming on now. And he's going 3 up front. It's all changed for Haggis. Interesting to see if there's any other changes or any additional arrows. Just wait for Ian to confirm. Look at Bostock go, says Tato Marine. Hopefully we have got these red-eye rests out of the way, Duggan, says Alf. Definitely not with your 2 sides involved, I would imagine. Plenty of drama in that game. Amaruso to the left. Anything else, Ian?
I would quite arrow on Scholes, I think.
Arrow on Scholes is confirmed as well.
Oh, nice.
But no move from the actual subs bench other than replacing the goalkeeper. Alf, you're getting absolute abuse live on comms if anything like this happens. Never seen Scholes have a Super League 9 before, says Ian. Do you know what? You're probably right. Nothing springs to mind. That is all Haggis are doing. Let's just check. The AMs it's only Totti now, but he's rating a 9. Montella a 7, so no changes required for Bostock Stanley. Let's resume the action. If Haggis can get a goal in the next sort of 7 to 10 minutes, it will certainly be an interesting end to the game. And there is the goal. Okoronkwo puts another one back.
Hello.
We have a game on our hands now. Cellini picks it up. Ferdinand. Amoroso comes forward. Scholes. Ronaldo, Scholes. They're all waiting. They're queuing up to strike. Okoronkwo again from the set piece. Montella now. Totti. Can Bostock get the advantage, the 2-goal lead back on the counter? Seaman with a save. Montella. Seaman with the double save. Wow. Absolute drama at the start of the season. Absolutely loving every game just about. They want another penalty. He's given it. Mazzantini. Oh. Mazzantini nearly got sent off. It's all kicking off. I don't know. I can't control it. Haggis have a second penalty. Is Figo going to score this time? Or does it resort to the second one because he has named 3 penalty takers?
You need to send a telegram to Arriva because the number 58 bus from the Edinburgh Royal Mile to Edinburgh is going to have its windows popped out if this penalty doesn't vote.
I've managed to slow the commentary down for this penalty again.
I hope Arriva have got their fucking public liability insurance sorted here. if Louis Figo misses 2 pens.
Oh, he scores it this time. It's 3-3 and there's still time for a winner yet.
And Haggis said he wants him taken off.
I know. He came too late. I couldn't do anything. Totti coming forward. He drives it low. He puts it wide. What's going to happen next? There's been 6 goals in this game and a red card. 4 minutes being added on.
Haggis escaping the pit of misery as it stands.
Montella. Still Montella. Totti. Seaman does well. Free kick to Boamorte with a header. Seaman with another save. What a substitute that's been, by the way. Figo is everywhere.
What a night.
Surely not. Surely not for 3 down. And there's the final whistle.
Well played.
What a game that is. It finishes 3-3. And wow. Absolute. I mean, what a game. What a night it's already been.
And fair play in Campbell for those subs. That was class. That my head would have went there after Figo missed that pen to make it 3-2. And the number 58 has all of its buses windows intact.
It is turning into one hell of a night. And let's just find out, Dave, as I said, of everything that happened, bringing David Seaman on was as crucial as anything. He made about 5 or 6 quality saves in the 20 minutes he was on the pitch. Look at him there with 9 rating. He was on the pitch on the 74th minute.
He's ball out to play 5 times, but he's just been an absolute machine at the back. Just like a little salmon bouncing about all over the shop.
Luis Figo, again, probably the best I've ever seen Figo play in the Super League. He was everywhere.
Yeah, I fair play, Campbell, fair play, mate, because that Bostock have looked class, and you were right up against it there. And as well, like I said, so you changed the tactic. You went back to kind of the old tactic, and they looked miles better. From the second you pushed them DMs up the ML and MR, it looked like a 50-50 game, to be honest, Fifey.
No, absolutely, completely agree. I said that I was looking for a team to really do this in the second half, and Haggis certainly gave it their best shout, and they had chances to win it as well. And you think they also missed a penalty in this game. Unbelievable, really. Let's have a look at Bostock, who remain unbeaten. It's their first drop points of the season. When Scott watches this back, he's not. I know he's listening, so he knows what's happened, but he's not going to really be able to get it just from listening exactly how crazy that second half was, is he?
Yeah, and again, it's like your keeper gets sent off, you go down to 10. That kind of formation relies on everybody being in the right place. So yeah, he's going to be gutted not to be 3 out of 3, but there's no shame in getting a point when you get down to 10 men in the Super League, I think.
No, absolutely not. The main frustration will be he was 2 and then 3-0 up. And threw it away. But well done, Haggis and Bostock, on what has been yet another entertaining game, on what is already one of the best nights of Super League action I can remember for a long time. I do not envy the last couple of games having to live up to what we've already seen. Utter carnage. Let's go to... No, we don't want to go to Dragons. That's the last game, which means we're... Oh, I thought we'd had 3 left to go. Apparently, we only have 2. We're going to Casual at home to Badgers. Next up, where is the Casual ticker? There it is. So Casual start go into the game 8th. 1-1 lost one of their games. Low scoring affairs, relatively speaking, compared to other Super League games. But one of the fancied sides after the initial draw. What do you make of it?
He's probably worried about goals, I think, and kind of chances created. I don't think he's particularly happy with what happens from the back line forward. Hodgie, he's up there with the best in this league in terms of track record. But it just shows you that it only takes kind of 1 or 2 players to not do the job you need them to do. Patrick Clivert, probably for him early doors, to start kind of making you scratch around a little bit. But it's a good 11 front or back. It's a good squad. Hodgie's held a lot of his big guns and not cashed in on them, which I think is like an admirable tactic. I think a lot of us look to make moves in the transfer window early. I like this front or back. The egg box formation should create a lot more, but whether or not it concedes a lot more is to wait and see.
And I mentioned earlier that one of the sides, the only team where the unhappy players aren't about contracts. A couple of Casuals players in the first team and the reserves unhappy at the sale of Zidane in the last game week. We obviously completely understand why they got rid of Zidane. But do you think that sort of disgruntlement and disharmony amongst a couple of players could cause a problem longer term?
If they're losing a couple, yeah. But if they win tonight,
they'll forget all about it.
Yeah.
Let's go and have a look at the Badgers then, who really need to get their season off and running. And they kind of do a tribute to the old Devils formation. They've got the diag on the right-sided defensive midfielder. I never used to put the little sideways arrow on the left-sided defensive midfielder, but they've got the free in support of one as well, with the long arrows on the fullbacks. It's just another version of a 2-7-1, but I quite like the look of it. There's a couple of players that I wouldn't personally pick, and I think they have better available. But largely, I think the Badgers look quite strong here.
Yeah, I think when you're kind of analysing a Tato team, you've got to kind of put your Tato head on, which is not how most of us play the game and the players we fancy and all that sort of stuff, and just respect the fact that he likes getting a tune out of players that he likes. I really like Swiatkowski, the left DM. I think he's a Simkoviak kind of waiting to happen. He's got kind of the similar stats in the right areas. Agahawa was poor for me a couple of times, but Dimble
got absolute numbers out of him and Bruising, didn't they?
It was unbelievable. Probably the best front three in the league he was part of last season, I think.
And CC Roberts got a track record as well under Tato.
Yeah, I kind of loaned him to Tato, hoping that he was going to play. He wasn't going to get a sniff really with us, but hoping that he's going to play. He's exactly the type of player you want up top to take those kind of massive chances. Yeah, listen, I love the way Tato plays the game. I love the way he goes about it. Talks to him a lot about the game. But it's on paper, it's a poor looking Badgers squad front to back.
And with that in mind, can I ask you for your final score prediction of the night, please?
I think I went 2-1 Casuals, yeah.
2-1 Casuals. Let's just see before I hit kickoff. Dimble got numbers out of season 5. Agahawa, that's very true. It has to be considered. I like the team from Tato. Yeah, very good comment as well. Should be a decent one, this. I agree. Let's kick this one off then. The penultimate game of tonight, Watton Casuals at home to Boostown Badgers. And there's Agahawa with an attempt. Lots of stuff going on there. Comandini, and I think I saw a tweet from Hodgie saying this tactic didn't fare too great in testing, but it did get goals out of Comandini, and the proof is in the pudding as he opens the scoring there. Badgers continue to come forward now looking for an equaliser, but we are approaching half-time. Are the home side going to double their lead in injury time? No, there's the whistle. Comandini on 15 minutes, then the difference between the sides, Duggan.
Yeah, I Comandini over Clyburn. I think Clybur's an absolute fraud. Got pelters for selling him at Gazelles, obviously, but he's done nothing in a long time now. And Comandini is that big target man up top that fares really well. Again, Hodgie's probably looking at that, wishing he's 2-0 up. Had a lot of chances, but Badgers are still in the game really. But other than that, 50-50. I thought the text was fairly balanced.
I thought the ratings here would look a lot more balanced than perhaps they do.
Yeah, totally agree.
Tato is just hoping for goals and entertainment as his side have been dull so far. Let's have a look at the home side in terms of ratings. Again, quite low numbers in some key areas. I mean, Contra not seeing a lot of the ball, Freddie Youngberg not getting overly involved. Lopez is in support of Comandini not getting a great deal either. So there's a lot more to come from this casual side.
Yeah, strikes has been kind of an 11 that's more functional than entertaining. Just kind of everybody doing their job, doing it, and probably Hodgie's going to grind out a lot of results this season, which isn't an insult or isn't kind of a negative at all, really. Because we'd all love to be winning, 1-0s every other game. Yeah, nothing spectacular, but they're ahead and 45 minutes to go.
As for Badgers, a slightly more even share, but still plenty of people not seeing. I mean, you mentioned the young attacking midfielder. He's not seeing as much as maybe Agahawa.
I love how you swerved. I love how you swerved saying his name there, Fifey. That was pretty good. Just a little cough in his place.
Switchowski.
Yeah, it's almost like Hopkins trying to pronounce that Greek keeper's name from days back in the day. Like that was always a decent crack.
Elefropoulos.
Yeah, that one. Hopkins always used to
see that I can do no problem. It's just all these Polish players that have been brought in. I just can't manage it.
Yeah,
I get worried about offending people by not being able to pronounce it.
If they're not Polish or Belarusian, they kind of play AFC. That's what everybody needs to remember. Really.
Is that so? Hodgie is going same. Tato is making changes. Wing backs to MR and ML, and one arrow on them. So like that. Yeah. Take arrows off DMC and play like that till 60. And Jamie is still watching along. It's great to see Jamie and Ryan, who was in earlier. I don't know if he's still watching, but great to see these names still watching and showing an interest in the Super League.
I agree. No difference to people. This is probably more involved Hopkins has been in a good couple of seasons. So listen, the league's miles better with Hopkins as part of it. Like he's a top lad.
And Jamie knows full well, but I will make it public. Any Thursday or Sunday where you're at a loose end and you want to come on comms, everybody would love to hear your voice talking about the Super League again. We resume the action. 10 minutes go by with, oh my God, absolutely fuck all happened. But there it is. Lopez makes it 2 on 66 minutes. 2-0 now to the home side. Hopkins for that. Crucial goal that at a massive time. It's a big uphill task now for Badgers.
Yeah, probably the worst game of the night in terms of like a spectacle. But casuals, Hodgie will not be asked about that. He's just getting the job done.
Looking at the subs, with them now being 2 up, are you seeing an opportunity maybe for Clivert to come on and try and find some form? Is Malewski coming on maybe to, I say shore it up? They're winning 2-0. They're not really in much danger at the moment.
Yeah, I think no odds, no condition issues, just roll as is.
And the breaking news coming in from the chat that I've just flashed up on the screen. 2 weeks today is Jamie's birthday. Pencil him in. I'm sure everyone is already foaming at the mouth in anticipation for that one. Yes, Hopkins. 0 points from 18 by then. While we wait to hear from Hodgie, let's have a quick look at Badgers, as Tato seems to have already made alterations without seeing the stats. So I'll just bring condition, although that's a myth, isn't it? Davidov and Puccini on for Agahauer and Bruges. Really? Free up top. Like that, Tater? Centralized suite, of course. Yep, done that. And Hodgie is going the same. So 2-0 now. Badgers have reacted with tactical changes. Free up top now. Can they cause enough problems and get themselves back in the game? Could we have more drama in this one?
I think they'll probably get just by sheer volume and numbers, I think.
Was the home side actually looking more likely just at this moment in time? They did come forward briefly there, Badgers, but it looks like too little, too late for them. Again, the home side come forward looking for that third. A yellow card for Kaladze is how we end the game. And Hodgie, as you say, just a sort of a routine victory for him tonight.
And created a hell more. I think that'll be the big thing for him. Created a lot more and took 2 of the chances that came his way. I'd be very surprised if Clivert gets a look in ahead of Comandini now.
I think it's a great shout. And again, what is great about a rebuild is it's a chance for new names to establish themselves, because players like Clivert, although big names still, and will still command big transfer fees potentially whenever windows are available, then their reputation has altered from the previous save. And therefore, you'll see chances for players like Comandini.
100%. 100%.
The Badgers manager not happy with the performance at all in the comments. Let's have a look at the home side then, and it is Comandini who gets man of the match. And I mentioned the low amount of sort of ball involvements that the whole squad had. It looks a lot better in that second half. Everyone was involved.
Yeah, you put in 45 like that across a couple of games back to back, you'll pick up wins and pick up points. Definitely, I think Hodgie, that'll probably be the happiest Hodgie's been since post draft, I think.
Let's have a look at the Badgers side then. The subs came on and tried their best, but couldn't really influence the game. It's one of those where if you look purely at the ratings, it's not even an awful performance.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know the squad well enough to really make massive comments on it. He's got a couple of big names in there that maybe you'll be tempted to pull the trigger on in terms of cashing in for 2-for-1s or whatever. The Super League needs players like Tato who play the way he does to do well, because it makes it massively interesting. So I would love this Badgers side to do really, really well. But sound like a prick when you say it, but there's probably too many players in there that just aren't quite ready season one.
No, well, and I'm sure this save will last a good another 4, maybe 5 season ones. So maybe come season 2, 3, 4, Badgers will be the team to beat in that case. But I can imagine, as you say, Tato is one of these who likes to play for fun. But he also would like to be a success in the Super League. I don't think that's without question. So it will be smarting that they've got off to such a bad start. Jens makes a very good point, however. In amongst all the adversity, Famani has come in and had a very good start to the season, really.
Yeah, and been really solid. And he needs 3 or 4 of them to show up with Famani, though. I think Famani showed up every single game. So credit to Tato. He wasn't a player I knew of, so credit to Tato for kind of making him known.
And that brings us to our final game of the evening. It's your side, and you host Asta tonight. Talk us through your team selection.
Yeah, so got on board the Roy Keane Red Card Express for the first time last game. Boya comes into MC in place of him. Mialbi and Gerard are the 2 DMs. Can you just switch Gerard and Mialbi over there for us, Fife? I totally forgot. I'd kind of tweaked something in the tactic file for that left DM. And listen, I love this squad. I think it's great. I think the 11 we can put out is class and is solid, probably as solid as we've ever had. The only thing I'd probably say is there's a couple of players in there that are maybe just a little bit too early in terms of the development. Volodenkov, probably a little bit too early for him. Boya, maybe season 1 isn't quite where he was at the end of last save. Gerard's probably another one of those. But listen, this squad's got enough to be really trying to challenge. I think we've been poor in one game and on the bad end of a stint at the last game. So let's see how we get on tonight. But no, I'm confident, still confident. No heads falling off just yet, regardless of how much Wood has panicking in the WhatsApp when we lose 2 back to back.
One thing that we've highlighted a couple of sort of newer names to the Super League that have done well, and we can't do that without mentioning your goalkeeper.
Yeah, and he's a Wooda shout. He was a Wooda shout. Wooda did a lot of the kind of draft scouting. So credit to him. He's been great. Yeah.
Maka believing after just 3 games that 5 of the 6 playoff positions are already filled. It's easy to. It still amuses me how quickly managers can get demoralised. We are 3 games into a season. Let's have a look at the Asta team then. Widely tipped, purely on paper, to do well this season. And they've started not bad. 4 points from 6. You'd certainly be taking that at this stage. Yet to concede. So I think I've got something along the ticker. You've lost your first 2 games without scoring, and they're yet to concede. So does that worry you a little bit?
We scored in the last game. Yes, it was 2-1.
Oh, did you? Oh, well,
yeah.
That's one stat I've got wrong.
But no, it's easy to mistake, mate. We've not been great. It's that kind of central column that worries us with this Asta side. And up until kind of seeing Alf on a couple of pre-season shows and co-coms, I wasn't convinced he was real. I was convinced he was just someone absolutely winding us up with saying, oh, I don't know if I'm going to start Robin and I don't know if I'm going to start Ndiaye. Heads falling off left, right and centre. It's that middle column of Asta that's solid. We probably hope tonight that Cafu and Volodenkov get the better of Ortega and Perez, who are really shit. And if they score against us tonight, I'll be really disappointed. But again, if Asta beat us here, I'm still not too concerned. There's no easy games in Super League. Form will change at some point. Things will change at some point. But a win here would really change the perspective on how we're doing, I think.
Well, Steve has gone straight in with a prediction that you're going to win 4-2. Ian saying Alf King of the mind games. Let's go to match centre then. Again, as it's your team, I won't ask for a score prediction, but I'll just wish you the very best of luck. Same to Alf as we kick off tonight's main event, Dragons at home to Asta Athletic. Early yellow card, I believe that was for Montero. And Dragons go 1-up through Constantinu on 5 minutes. Aston now coming forward looking for an equaliser. Dragons, though, whether that little bit of a storm and come forward looking for a second themselves. Very even looking game this since the goal. We're already approaching half time. Another yellow card, this time for Van Nistelrooy. And we've reached half time by tonight's standards in double quick time, Duggan.
Yeah, pretty boring, to be honest, mate.
For all the excitement we've had tonight, and this is what we've got for the main event.
Yeah, two sides looking to cancel each other out, I think. Yeah, not great. Sorry, boys.
Let's start with the away side then, as you've got the live feed. Montero is, I mean, I've seen a couple of comments, XYZ is a walking red card. There is except for when I calmed him down, Montero is a walking red card. And the way the referees have been in these first 3 game weeks, it would be a concern. Looking through the ratings, though, there's just not enough players having a good impact on the game from an Asta perspective, which is credit to your team.
Yeah. I think Montero and probably, I'd say, Juliano, who were your centre-half pairing, have been absolutely nuts for everybody else, but we're absolutely flying for you, which is absolutely totally bizarre. But yeah, nearly as bad as Mido, that mate. But yeah, not
Mido, who scored in a winning final.
I know, mate, against us. I know we balls don't mind us. But yeah, not bad from Asta. They're still in the game. Look, they've got 2 of the best strikers on the save up top.
That's Alf is going as is. Let's have a look at your side then. You are 1-0 up, and it is your boy Constantinu. He's been charged with being the main striker this season. Keown as well, who, if I remember rightly, draft pick 1.
Yeah, draft pick 1, and we really didn't think we were going to get him because we were 11th on the list. I think he should have really been up there in terms of potentially a pot 1 pick, to be honest, mate, in terms of the original draw. Can we go Sinkoviak for Archie back with no arrow, please?
You certainly can. So back off Sinkoviak on no arrow.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. It?
Yeah.
Okay, let's resume the action and go to 60 then, with Dragons currently 1-0 up on Asta Athletic. A lot of action that opening minute of the game, and there's Salas makes it 1-1 with his first goal for Asta. And there's a red card, and it is for Lee Bowyer. Dragons first they pulled back to 1-1, and now they are a man down. I said there'd be a red card in this game.
Yeah, can we just put the arrows off Afu?
Off completely?
Just shorten them to halfway.
I'll shorten, yeah.
And then just stick a little diag arrow on Gerard, please, if that's all right.
Yep. And Alf, any changes you'd like to make, as it is a red card? Please let us know now. Given what you've seen, are you confident your side has it in them to? Are you looking at them to defend the point or still go for the win?
We just got to be honest. I think we just got to try and get out of the pit of misery. To be honest.
Let's see if you can do so. No changes from Alf. Just a couple of minutes into this second half, and it's 2-1. It's Ronaldinho with his first goal for Dragons. The 10 men are ahead, and now an injury for Marcelo Salas. It's come at the right time. It's on an hour anyway, so we will do all of the tactical changes. But what a goal! A man down, but a goal up, Duggan.
Yeah, and regardless of the results, the fact that we've got Ronaldinho and Constantinu off the mark is probably a little bit more important than the result, to be honest, mate.
Well, Viduka, the obvious change has been done by Alf, just to make sure he's aware. Anything else as at our mark, Alf? Looking at his side, are you expecting to make any additional changes?
Maybe Gallardo for one of the wingers.
Yep, definitely a shout. Still just the 2 yellow cards. While we wait for Alf to decide if he wants to do anything else, let's go over to your side on 59 minutes. Still Balder and Tony options available. You are winning again. Squad conditions look fine. Ratings look fine. Are you considering any alterations?
No, we'll just go as is, mate.
We're going as is. Gallardo for Perez is the other change by Alf. So 2 changes to try and get back into this game again. And we resume the action with the 10 men, a goal up. Let's just slow this down. Last game. Van Nistelrooy for Duca. Keown gets his body in the way. Mialbi, Konstantinu, Volodenkov, Sokoviak, Ronaldinho, just over the bar. Still looking strong, Duggan.
Yeah, we don't look too bad.
Mialbi showing a yellow card for push on for Duca. Ferguson flights in the free kick and Nye picks it up, but Dragons hold out into the last 10. Are Dragons on for their first win of the season here? Time ticking away nicely from their perspective. Not great from an Asta perspective. Just 2 minutes being held on. Gallardo picks up Van Nistelrooy. Robben. Easy chance for Robben, and it's 2-2. Iron Robben is the scorer. Is he ready for the Super League Season 1? Yes, he is. Into injury time. Victor Bayer, Konstantinu, Montero wins it. Now Robben, are they going to win it? Oh, Viduka in injury time had the opportunity. There's the full-time whistle. And it finishes Dragons 2, Asta 2. Your instant reaction to that, Duggan? Another late goal.
Not bad with 10, but you cannot play Super League games with 10 men and expect to kind of hang on. Yeah, fair play, Alf. It's amazing. Iron Robben is ready for season 1, isn't it? It's like absolutely fucking nuts. But yeah, we'll take that. Look, Ronnie and Konstantinu got off the mark, and Lee Bowyer continues to be a little bit of a liability, to be honest.
Let's have a look at your stats first, and as the home side, as you say, Bowyer's red card really causing the problem so early in that second half. Sokoviak came on and certainly did a job in the second half, and pretty solid ratings throughout, although Nesta on a 6, perhaps a little bit of a surprise.
Well, he got a 5 last game, I think, mate, so he's a little bit out of form. If we have 10 men on that pitch, we win that game quite comfortably, I think, mate. I think that's pretty clear. I think the subs were right, the tactic changes were right, but ultimately against 10 men, if you play that long for against 11, you're gonna kind of concede chances. But listen, we're off the mark. We're off the mark. We've not got a 0 against our name, and the 2 strikers have scored, so we'll take that.
Looking over at Asta, Van Nistelrooy was picking up man of the match. Again, just a solid team performance all round. It like you said, it was just 2 teams looking to cancel each other out, really, and we did get an entertaining second half out of it. There was enough quality on display to make it a good game. Fair result all round, but plenty there for Alf to be happy about, but plenty of also to improve on.
Yeah, he probably should have kicked on. You know, he was 1s each, I think, when we had Bowyer sent off. He probably feels as though he should have won that game. Well, fair play, Alf, mate. You've got a cracking 11 there, and you'll still be spoilt for choice when people come knocking your door down for Ferguson, Ndiaye, and Iron Robben. So it'll be interesting to see what you do with that squad, mate.
So let's just confirm the classifieds for tonight. Then we had Dragons 2, Asta 2, as we've just seen. East Coast beat Fulchester 2-1. Gazelles winning 1-0 at home to Triple P. A 3-3 between Haggis and Bostock. Vikings winning 3-1 at Celtics. Badgers losing 2-0 away at Casuals. And Rose, the only home team to lose tonight, they lost 2-1 to Northern Burn. Still only 3 games in, so early days, but let's have a look at what that's done to the table. So we're now down to 3 clubs with 100% win records. That's Northern Burn, East Coast, who are at second courtesy of conceding 1 more goal, and Gazelles maintain their 100%. We've also got Vikings and Bostock inside the top 6. They're yet to lose. Casuals then 6th on 6 points. Asta, another side yet to lose, but they've drawn 2. They're on 7. Fulchester 8th on 3. Dragons are one of 4 clubs on 1 point, along with Rose, Triple P, and Haggis. Celtics and Badgers yet to get off the mark in 13th and 14th. Thursday night, this is a fixture. So we've got Asta at home to East Coast, Badgers at home to White Rose, Stanley at home to Burn. What a game that could be. Fulchester versus Vikings, another one I'd look forward to watching. Haggis versus Dragons. I'll ask you in a second what you're thinking about that one, Duggan. Triple P at home to Casuals, and Celtics host Gazelles. So obviously you won't have your pack until tomorrow, but are you looking at that fixture away at Haggis as a chance to get that first win?
Yeah, I mean, look, no disrespect, they've played well tonight and they've came back from 3-0 down. They're not one of the 3 out of 3 teams, so I fancy this Dragons 11 against anyone in the league. Whether or not it happens when the play is a totally different thing and outside of my control, really. But yeah, I think let's go to Haggis and try and get the win. Bowyer out, Keane in, probably is the best we can hope for, to be honest.
And something I did want to say, I put it up in the initial news bit in the intro, but so this game week 3. So after Thursday's games, there'll be a little bit extra content because Mr. Savage has announced his first Australia squad. Here is the 24 selected. Let's do it by club. So we've got 3 Astor players. Remember, the rules that he was given was he could only pick players in the reserves, and you would have noticed, I hope everyone saw, he is also putting together these little graphics with the reserve results up, picking his reserve team of the week and showing who is in his consideration. So we've got 3 Badgers players there, 2 Stanley players, just the 1 from East Coast. Fulchester, we've got 3, 1 Gazelle, 1 Haggis, 1 Burn, 3 from Triple P, 2 Vikings, 2 Celtics, 1 Casual, and 1 Rose. No Dragons reserves making the squad, Duggan.
Yeah, fuck you, Savage.
His next match will be away to Fiji. What he doesn't know is, because the whole part or half of the element of this was to get him involved in the Super League, the other half was to see hopefully players develop. I have also taken control of the under-21 squad, and still no Dragons make the Australia under-21 squad either. But I've named a full 26 of young reserves to hopefully get some players some exposure in the under-21 side. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Savage does with the Australia team. Indeed, Savage is giving some excellent alternative. You want some player stats? Absolutely, Jens. Why not? While I just click through these screens after 3 games, Duggan, we've had lots of compliments, as we always do when you're on comms. Any final words from yourself?
No, I just think the work that you've done and the guys around you've done, particularly Dimble, to get us back up and running. I think it's the best presentation. I think it's the best ever build. I think it's the best ever standard. I think that's something that often goes overlooked. You go back to any of the previous seasons of Super League, probably longer than maybe 2 seasons ago, and you look at some of the formations that are being played and the players that are getting played, they're nowhere near the level that kind of we're playing at now, I don't think, to be honest. And I say that as somebody that's in it. So, I don't think the standard's been ever higher. I don't think the presentation's ever been better. I don't think the build has ever been stronger. Dimble's really built on what Ryan's done previously. It's just, listen, win, lose or draw, it's just a class thing to be part of, and keeps me sane on my worst of days. So, yeah, fair play, Fifey, and Viva Super League.
Viva Super League, indeed. Whether you've been watching on YouTube or Twitter, thank you very much. As I said at the start, and I don't normally, please do go like, subscribe, share the video. If everyone watching this was to like it on YouTube and retweet it from there, well, between us, we've all got like 2, 3, in my case, 4 Twitter accounts. Just get the exposure out there. Like we say, a lot of people have worked very hard on this. I take virtually 0 credit for what the Super League looks like now. A lot of other people like Duggan, who did a lot of the graphic work, like Dimble, who did, as we said, has put together a very entertaining looking build. They deserve as much recognition as possible. So let's get it out there as best as we can. But comms is open for Thursday, so if you're interested in following in the footsteps of Ian, of Alf, and tonight's excellent co-comms from Duggan, please let me know. Apart from that,
Tato's just put, I don't want more people to see my fucking shite team.
And on that note, I thank you all very much for watching. It's good night from me and from Duggan.